at football practice for the kids.
Okay.
So, alright, so being 6:25, luckily, Mike and KP are on the dot here, and they're a little early, and Susan and I are a little late, but we'll balance it out. 6:25, call us to order. Today's, I don't think we're actually being recorded that I know of.
Yeah,
so-
she's up there.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
It's not, there's no light on.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello,
Hi.
come on in.
Good morning.
I said come on in.
Oh, I thought you said good morning.
I thought you said good morning too.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, she's on now.
Oh, there we go. Let's try that again. All right, so welcome to today's meeting. It's the Arpa Advisory Committee. Today is August 9th, 2022. Our meeting started at 6 o'clock, but we thought we'd start at 6:25, so we'll call the meeting to order at this time. We're going to open the meeting. I do not believe we have any minutes to approve as of yet, but Tony is working on them for us to catch us up. So as soon as we get those, hopefully we'll review them the next meeting. First, we have open session. Is there anyone here from the public who has anything to talk about that is not on the agenda? All right, seeing none, I'm going to move on here. So updates and new info related to Arpa funds. As far as I know, there's nothing definitive that has come down from either the state or federal government with any additional funds that we should be expecting anytime in the near future. If something changes, they constantly go back and forth. The state was for a while looking at some legislation for economic development, additional funds there, but that kind of was deflated before the end of the session, so we'll see where things pick up when they get going again. Scoring matrix. So we, as of our last meeting, we did discuss we did not have a scoring matrix that we all agreed on. We still do not have one. I don't believe I missed any emails from anyone about different algorithms. I don't think anyone had any to submit. Does anyone want to talk about scoring matrix at this point, or do we want to plow into checking for completeness of applications, and if time allows, come back to that conversation?
That's what I vote for.
Okay, everyone's on board with that?
Yep.
KP?
Yes.
Cool. All right, review of all ARPA applications for completeness. So everyone has a packet here. Hopefully no one took them out of order, because then all bets are off.
That's right, but I showed up with Dawn's application, which Dawn gave Mike and me at our working session, which you don't have in this packet.
Oh, it's not in the
So
packet?
it is timely delivered and, but not in the
Okay.
packet.
Is that this right here?
That is that right there.
All right, so we will add that at the end here.
What's that amount?
You're asking all kinds of questions, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
34, there's a couple numbers, so we'll do that one last.
Okay.
We'll figure out what the number's there. Alright, so the first application here, remember tonight we're not really discussing the validity of the application, we're just discussing whether or not it is complete or whether or not we need more information from them before we can consider it. At which point they will have 1 week to get it back to us before we opine next week and start deliberations.
Mhm.
So the first application we should have here and that I just pulled off is the Cemetery Commission. Does everyone have that?
Yep.
Okay, so the first application is the Cemetery Commission. This was submitted by the town. It looks like, let's see here, to purchase, improve, and modify is the project as Tony outlined it. So right here, we don't have an email address, so we're gonna ask for that, because I'm not sure how to get information to them if I don't know how to contact them.
That's gonna be Paul Sweeney.
Paul Sweeney?
Yep.
Well, isn't the, what's the barber shop, what was it, from, like, the early 1900s? They did, you know how they had the different...
Barbershop Quartet.
No.
Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd, thank you. That's all I can think of, sorry. Paul
We're
Sweeney.
talking about you, Paul.
Alright, let's see here. So Town Commission, that's complete. Paul Sweeney Chairman, all Hubbardston residents, and there's an amount there. So as far as Part A goes, does anyone see anything missing from Part A other than the email address?
No, I did not.
Okay. Looking at my chart right here, so this looks like it is a request. So tell us what it's a request for, or we don't know yet. We do not know yet, but there's no Part B. Okay. And Part C, let's see, for capital expenditures. So we're gonna assume right now that's for capital, because that's a piece that's completed. Description of the assets applicant proposes, there appears to be an attachment, same for the budget. The rest of it is complete. Looking back here to the back, let's see. There's a Schedule A, which includes an outline of some numbers for a budget. So it's description of the assets applicant proposes, so I'm assuming they're considering the list here to be the description. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
And then there is a budget.
Yes.
Okay, does anyone have any questions or really a need for additional information for that piece, or do we feel like that will suffice our Part C section for the description of the assets in the budget, or?
I think this looks good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's very complete.
Alright, so we got the attached with the pictures.
Good job, Paul.
And
Yeah,
so
good job,
forth.
Paul. Yeah, he filled out C and D probably because he didn't know which direction to go in, but this looks like it's a C,
Okay, so we're gonna put
capital
not applicable
expenditure,
to D.
ask, rather than a duplicate, rather than two asks.
Okay, I would go with that notion. And let's see, Part E is completed, so that works as well. So it
Yeah.
says capital, so they have A, they have C, and they have E. So that's all set. Attachments required. Did they give us an FY 23 budget? I do not see an FY 23 budget. Does anyone see an FY 23 budget for the town?
No.
Okay, so that's missing.
Why would I have an FY?
Cause that was one of the requirements
Oh, there
for
it is.
finances. Do
There
you see it?
Yep.
Oh, you see the requirement, you don't see their budget.
Yes, right,
Okay,
right,
so
yeah,
I will
so we,
circle
yeah,
that.
we need to have the, whatever the line item was, although.
Okay,
Yeah, one of the applicants said that the accountant had not provided them yet with the 23 budget.
which they could have got from the annual town meeting. But I appreciate that piece of information. Alright, so he
I
needs
feel
to.
appreciated.
So he needs to get that budget to us.
Mhm.
And we have backup documents, we're happy with the number of photos, renderings, plans, proposals, supporting documentation. Alright, and then budget and support, he gives a budget for the backup information, looks like some price quotes as well.
Mhm.
Everyone's good with that?
Yeah,
Alright, so application is not quite complete, he's missing two pieces, number one, email if you'd like us to contact him, and number two, FY 23 budget. Alright, so I'm just doing one sheet of paper, notes for everybody, so that my sanity goes better together. Alright, everyone's good with cemetery commission,
Yes.
moving on? Awesome, okay, next, we have, let's see, what we got here?
Ambulance?
Ryan, town administrator, where's the project? Description of applicants, town administrator, okay, townwide.
Almost all of them are stock stuff in the front. So I went through each one of mine and moved all the stock stuff to the back and
On the second one, what is
this is.
250, so this must be
It's
the
the-
ambulance,
it's
right?
the
that's the
ambulance.
ambulance.
Should we look through the person who's here in person so she can get on with her day?
We can, let's finish the ambulance and then we can circle back, Chris, how's that?
Fabulous.
Okay. Alright, so the ambulance request is for 250,000, I'm gonna assume it's a capital.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so they have to complete Part A, Part C, and Part E. So Part A, everyone's good, that's complete.
Yes.
Part C just says C attachment. Okay, description of the assets. Please see attached information, okay, I'll look that up. Hubbardston residents who these assets are intended for. Okay, we have to look at the thing as well. Hubbardston residents who these assets are intended to serve, we get that. The budget for these capital expenditures. Ambulance purpose indicating purchase will approach 375, we're asking Arpa committee dedicate 250,
I don't see an actual
quote?
Quote, I see an opinion from the chief.
Okay, so we'd like a quote. I'll make a note right here, need quote.
Why do we need a quote?
Cause sometimes what happens is someone will say, I think we're gonna need $300,000 for this. And then we fund them at $300,000 and then it turns out it's $382,000, $700,000. Like they should have something to rely on for information. We ask for it, right? The other applicants give it to us. They should find something, even if it's, you know, the most.
But they're not asking for 100% funds to fund this.
He's saying we should, that the
Yeah, they only want
town should
250.
budget 375.
But they're still saying what the amount is for the ambulance, and they're thinking it's only $375. What happens if the ambulance is $500, but the town can only throw in $125? Now we still can't get an ambulance.
And then that ARPA money is
Just
in
tie it up.
limbo.
I just think that, you know, we're asking all the other applicants to put in the information
Fine.
and the
Yeah,
time.
that's fine, I'm fine with it, but if they're only asking for 250 and we give them 250 and they didn't do their homework and the ambulance comes in higher than that, you know, that would be a disappointment. And, but okay, no, that's fine.
Okay. Let's see, so we're going through that, part C.
He does say that he's looking to see if he can get a quote.
Okay, well, we will push a little more and see if you can get a quote, or at least,
That was July 26th.
okay. If not, maybe they can at least grab from other towns, you know, there's similar invoices that they've just processed, so that we have an idea of ballpark of where we're gonna fall. Alright, proposed schedule. Alright, any questions on part C of anything else being missing on part C? Or we all go with that, with the addition of the quote?
Yes,
Okay, and part E is there. Attachments required. Do you see in FY '23 budget? I do not see an FY '23
No.
budget. Okay, so they will need to submit that to the departments. Are we satisfied with the backup documents included otherwise? Do we feel like there needs to be more photos, renderings, plans, proposals, supporting documentation? Or any of the above?
no,
No, we're not satisfied, or no, we don't feel a need?
no, I don't feel a need.
Okay, Mike, Susan, you guys on the same boat?
Yes.
Okay. And so my last question's back here. Budget and support, so he does do he just says it's one item, one cost, so no objections there. Alright, so we still need a quote for this. Alright. Alright, do we have multiple copies of this or just one copy, Susan?
You have just one copy.
Okay. Everyone's good if I forego copying the application instructions?
In the interest of time, yes.
In the interest of time,
Yeah, there's another meeting at 7, so.
alright, we'll move.
I just got out of work, so.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
thing. Okay, so this is Dawn DeRosa's, and this is Care For You Hair Salon. Alright, so let's see here, it looks like on the first page, I know Susan, Mike, you guys did the workshop, I believe, with Dawn. Did the Hubbardston residents who the applicant service piece is still blank? Do we anticipate that should have an answer in it?
We do. Dawn,
Okay.
who are the Hubbardston residents that you serve?
Couple of hundred.
Okay. Alright, so I think if it's okay, I'm just gonna make a note and I'm gonna send you an email, Dawn.
I would say general population.
General population.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Alright, so everything else there on A is okay. Dawn, how much are you asking for? Cause there's 3 numbers on this sheet of paper.
Well, because when I came for the first one, I was approved back on 4/28/22.
Yep, for 15,950.
Right, because I didn't fill that application out properly. So for the 2 years, what was total loss, then we subtracted the 1590.
The amount requested is right here.
Yeah, but what is the amount? Is the amount requested 34,028.89 or
Yeah,
49,000?
cause she's subtracting
I
the
Okay.
subtracted the
15,950.
15,950.
Yeah,
Okay, so you're requesting 34,028.89.
right.
Right,
Okay, thank you.
because I didn't fill out the last application properly.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's answers here under B. Does anyone need any more information on B, or do we feel like it's sufficient?
Dawn, did you get an SBA loan?
No,
Okay, so you applied, but you didn't
No.
receive one.
right,
Okay,
correct.
okay,
And the PPP and all those other ones.
okay. If you didn't get any loans, PPP loans, none of that stuff, where'd you get the money to run your business?
My brother.
Okay.
Family,
Alright,
and emptied my total savings account.
family and savings, okay. Alright,
Alright, so part E, we have, it's completed as well. So we're looking for, let's see here, it looks like we need 19, 20, 21, and 22 first half for balance sheet and profit loss. We have the profit loss here for 19, profit loss statement for 20, profit loss statement for 21, and profit loss statement for 22.
I don't think my set has them.
I think I didn't,
Are they still parked in the thing?
yeah. Oh, here they are. But we just have profit and loss. Did we also anticipate balance sheets?
We did, but that would only have shown the loans. I don't feel strongly about that.
Is everyone else good without balance sheets?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So we have that. Are we good on backup information since this is lost revenue and therefore not a capital?
Correct.
We are,
Okay.
although, and the point of today is not to do the math to confirm the number. It's
Nope.
just to say that we have what
Everything
we
we
have
need.
to,
Yes.
to confirm the number.
Okay, so we're gonna mark this as a complete application then. Is that
Right.
everyone on board with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Alright, Don.
Oh,
Complete application. We're not gonna make any decisions till at least next week.
no, I know that, but that's why I came in last time 3 times. Cause I found
Alright.
in the wrong paperwork.
You're over the first hurdle.
Thank you guys, have a
Thank
great
you.
evening.
Thank you.
Alright, so I'll pick up the pace a little bit here. Let's see, so the next one I have in the packet, it's another one from Ryan for 13/6/11. Looks like the laserfish project. And the amount requested for this project appears to be $13,611.05.
What is it?
Laserfiche is a software that allows you, when scanning in all of your documents, to store, sort, and search, so that you can discard and dispose of the hard copy paper, freeing up space and so forth. This was a project I believe they had started at another time, and that they were working on needing additional funds to finish it up. So it looks like here they've completed part A. This looks like I'm guessing a capital request. Part C says see attachment, and it looks like it's relatively thorough with answering the questions proposed. Part D and part E is all there. There's no FY23 budget, but I don't believe this was a budgeted for project. They did have, although we should ask, I don't know if it's outlined in there, did anyone see if he outlined how much he did? Total project, remaining state grant? Okay. So see, does anyone feel a need for any more budget information, or are we good?
We're good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
KP?
I'm good.
Okay, it's got backup documents and those things, so we're all set, so application will be complete. Lovely. Okay, misplaced that one, fantastic. Alright, next one we have here,
Town center project.
town center. Okay, so this is $20,000. Again, Ryan submitted this. Again, there is a separate attachment for C with the explanations and the answers there. So this would be a capital project. E is taken care of. Okay. Alright, there's a bill attached to it with the breakdown. Do we feel like there's any need for any additional FY23 budget information, since this again is kind of outside the scope of a general department budget?
No.
No. KP, you're good?
Yep.
Okay, everyone feels this application is complete?
Sure.
Alright. Next. We have Council on Aging. Okay, I believe this
Capital.
is, you jumped way ahead of me, Mike, good job. Alright, so you get all the information there, $60,000 is the ask, see attached sheet. So again, there's a couple pages with the answers to the information, including the breakdown. C is there, E is attached. There's a diagram on the back. There's a picture or sketch of what it would look like. Some details of the drawing, and so forth. We do not see an FY23 budget for the COA, but since we asked for one for cemetery, I would ask for their budget as well, if that's okay. Does anyone feel there's a need for any additional information?
No.
Mike?
No.
KP?
No.
Alright, so that is complete, almost complete, mine's the budget, so put it in my file. Alright, next, Hubbardston Open Space Committee. Alright. Okay, they seem to have a thorough application here, at least initially it seems to be. So it looks like they're going for capital. They have part A complete. Part C appears to be complete. And E, supporting documentation, there's some maps, detailed responses, and a budgetary support and documents. Do they get an annual budget from the town?
No.
Okay. So Susan says no, so therefore that's not applicable.
They also say no, so that's,
Okay. Anyone feel we need any more information on this packet, or do we feel it is complete?
I like how they did this, it's complete.
KP, you agree?
Complete.
Cool. Moving right along. Parks Commission is up next. So they have a project here for $50,000. Let's see. Alright, again, we need a copy of their budgets. Not sure which application, so we completed both, okay. So we have their C. Oh, she's going for, it looks like for capital, okay. Information's there,
They did get $20,000 grant.
you see that. Part E. They have the detail of the project description and some more information on the back. Does anyone feel there's more information needed for this capital request?
no.
Okay, Mike,
Nope.
KP,
No,
alright, so we're gonna go with complete.
I thought we were gonna
Oh,
follow
budget.
up on the budget?
I circled it too, Susan. You're right. Alright, now we're in the business file here, we got Plainview.
what's the what's the budget question?
They just didn't submit, we
Tell us what their
requested
line
from,
item is.
Okay.
yeah,
Um,
so
why,
Plainview,
why is there no application for this other Parks Commission well pump at Curtis Recfield?
I do not know. Is it are you missing? You have more right there in that second.
No, it's not in the
There's
packet.
no application
No?
for the well
No.
pump at Curtis Recfield.
Well, let's get through what we have, and then I'll follow up with what we don't have.
And
So I
I can
can't-
tell you there is a new well pump at Curtis Recfield. Well, there isn't a new well pump, there's a new irrigation system. So I
Okay.
think we need more information on that whole,
Well, if we don't have a
We need an
packet, we need a lot.
application.
right,
It's possible
Which
they
is-
submitted, maybe it just got separated from the file.
okay.
Alright, so Plainview Farm, so we have theirs here. They have a cover letter, walking through the information in lieu of the app. They completed, I believe, the information there. It looks like they're looking for both loss revenue and capital. Susan, you reading that the same?
Mm-hmm.
So 15K for rev and 30K for capital. Alright, so it looks like they have part B here. Answered the loan questions. They have a piece for part C. They have profit and loss form for farming. 20 for 19, 20, 21. And I don't see the first part of 22, but that might be hard to do if they're doing it as a tax form. Okay.
I'd like to,
Well, they can still do it.
I'd like to make a recommendation for future applicants, that if they are submitting a profit loss form like this,
Oh,
that they black out their SSN,
yeah,
because I don't wanna hold any personal identifiable information in my car, for example.
that's fair, so we'll take that. You know what we can do, Mike, is we can probably shred these before we leave, and then, we'll just keep an original copy and black them out and scan them in.
Sure.
Or I'll have Tony work on that. Alright, so we do have their application for that. Did you want them to try to do a profit and loss, for the first half of 22, Susan?
Yeah,
Okay, so it doesn't have to be a formal one, they can just pencil it in?
no, what they will do is spit it out of their QuickBooks,
Okay,
or whatever they use for their accounting software.
okay, so I will ask for that. And do we feel like we need a balance sheet, or we feel like the profit and loss is gonna be sufficient to get us the information we need?
I think the profit and loss will be alright.
Okay.
They say they didn't apply for any loans, so.
Okay. Alright, and then as far as the construction piece goes, they have a job estimate.
Mm-hmm.
That's dated incomplete. Is there any, do they have a part E where they do that signature line here? Let's see. I do not see part E, so
I
we
don't
will get
either.
them part E.
Yeah,
Okay. Is there anything else we feel like we may need here? To have a complete packet, so we need part E, and we also need QuickBooks for the first half of 22.
Yep.
Does that work for everyone? Does that work for you, KP, or is there anything else you see that we're missing?
No,
Okay.
that works.
Alright, next we have Heart and Heart Consignment, so another business in town. And let's see, oh, okay. It's a handwritten letter. Alright, so getting into the application though. There's no A, I'm not sure if the
is there an application?
It is, halfway through.
That's what this, oh,
It says at the end of the letter, I will redo my application with more specifics.
Okay. So I'm not sure if we have that, but we are missing part A is there, it's on the third page in, my apologies. So your part A. Part B is on top there.
I don't see part A is, this part A is the consignment store and the fitness and yoga bar.
Yeah.
Oh, these not the same up, you think they got mixed up?
I think
Kathy,
it's the
no,
same,
Kathy Molesky,
it's the same building,
Is it, okay,
yeah.
Heart and
Alright.
Heart
It
Consignment.
says it right in the beginning of the letter.
oh, alright, okay.
Alright, so part A is all set. It's complete, at least for contact information so far. Part B, explain how amount requested in part A relates to revenue loss as a result of the pandemic. I'm not sure, I might follow up with them, just cause I'm not sure if it's in that letter, and I don't think we have time to read the letter right now. So part B, missing answer. Means which applicant, that's all set. Part C for capital. Again, there's one question that's missing, and again, I don't know if it's on there. Missing question. And part A, but again, it doesn't include the amount requested,
Right.
so we're missing that.
This is an example of someone who should have come into our workshop.
Yes.
Okay, so we also need all of the profit and losses and balance sheets
Yep.
and backup and supportive information for whatever they're trying to do for capital.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be a busy lady tonight. Alright. Anything else? Other than a lot. Okay, next I have Giacomos?
Giacomos.
Giacomos. It's the I that messes with me. Alright, is this all Giacomos? This might be, yes, this whole
There's two
packet.
of
Oh, is there two?
Yeah,
There are
there's
two, okay.
two applications, one for 17 grand.
Alright, so the first one we have here is the 15,000
Yep.
39.18. Let's see, the first page is complete on B, see separate application on B, I'm not sure, oh, they must have separated them. Looks like it's going for capital on this first application, cause there's a reference to a convection oven. Let's see, so C is there, A is there, E is signed. There looks like there's a quote and description of what they need. Or I believe, is there a quote or there's a description? See description, there's the quote, some more quotes, They have the backup on the item requested. Well, it's neither here nor there,
I've got a bad copy
okay?
in my pile.
Give a bad copy. That document did not show me profit and loss, let's see if the next one does.
This is all of
The next one in the back, let's see, we have profit or loss for business for 19. We have 20. We have 21. And 22 partial year, so we do have the profit and loss for that.
Mm-hmm. They came to our,
Huh?
they came to
Oh, did
our
they?
thing.
Yeah,
Okay. So between the two sets of documents, they appears they have everything
and everything.
they need. Does anyone have anything else for them? KP, you okay with that? Alright, so let's see, we review the application from, just running down my list here, so we reviewed for the ambulance, the laserfish, the town center, the outdoor space with the deck, open space had improving trail surfaces, Parks Commission, we only saw the walking track, right?
Correct.
Plainview had lost revenue and capital. Jacamos,
Jacobs.
like, okay. Appliances and lost revenue both there, and the fitness barn, consignment mini split. And cemetery, and here for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's where we're at with applications.
Okay.
Okay, so that covers all of our applications. I will get all these emails out tonight, except for the person who did not give us our email. No email for him.
You have to call them.
Well, he might get Tony's call. Depends on what time I am at when I get through everyone else's applications.
You might have an email on the website.
I look.
Oh, no, okay,
Susan, if I have to look to give you money, I'm not giving you money.
I'm just saying,
I'm a tough audience.
I'm just saying.
Alright, so that's where we are at that. So going back to our agenda this evening, which I have misplaced, and here it is. Alright, so we reviewed those. The next meeting date is next Tuesday at 6 o'clock, not to be
Yes, I
confused
will
with
remember.
6:30.
I will
I
remember.
did the same thing, so we both on the same boat there.
I will try to be here.
Okay.
I'm going in for surgery on Friday, so I don't know how I'll feel.
Okay. I know there was some requests for me to try to do a Zoom meeting as well, or a Zoom component.
I could probably do Zoom.
We can try. I'll see if Tony can be here, cause we know what happens when there's the same person running the Zoom, unless we do it from the table. We've had success, but
Yeah.
select board with the monitor, not so much. Alright, we'll see if we can do that. What do we wanna do about the scoring matrix? Do we wanna talk about that now, although it's already 7 o'clock? You said there was another meeting at 7?
Yeah, but they're not here yet, so.
So do we wanna converse real quick about the scoring matrix and what we'd like to do for, how we'd like to actually go through these when we do them next week, once we review the ones that were outstanding first to confirm that they're complete?
So I did a rough total,
Mm-hmm.
and we're short about 219,000. If we wanted to fund everything, we'd need.
Assuming we thought they were all well-worthy
Right.
projects.
We'd be short 209, almost 220,000.
So we're not able to fund everything requested.
Right.
Normal sitch.
So yeah, that's gonna make it interesting as to how do we drop some people completely, or do we maybe not give as much and give as much as we can to as many as we can.
Okay. Should we be going through them in a particular order? Should we be doing any rank and file, similar to what we did last time, different from what we did last time?
Well, there's an awful lot in there that are following the spirit of the ARPA funding. I know we need an ambulance, but is that supposed to come under ARPA? I guess, maybe.
So I guess
But
without going into those
the
specifics.
Laserfish
so much.
project, to me, and the town center project sound like things that should have been budgeted for by the town. That
But-
should come out of the town budget.
I guess before we go into those specifics, I guess my question is looking at all the projects as a whole, as, you know, we have a pile of projects.
Mm-hmm.
How should we proceed with reviewing them? Are you suggesting that perhaps because there's potential additional or other funding that could conceivably be used for some town projects, that we take non-town projects first to review and then with, if,
Well, I take issue with the concept that there's other town money available for this stuff, if you've been paying any
No, I
attention.
didn't say there was. I didn't say there was. What I'm saying is certain projects like Laserfish and Town Center project should have been budgeted by the town.
Well, if there was enough
as
money
opposed to-
for them, they would have been budgeted. That's the rub. That's why they're in here.
Town Center project I thought was fully funded. I thought we voted on that. So I don't know where the extra 20K is coming from for that.
Defer to our select board members to enlighten us on that topic. That I don't know.
not this very second in time though. So going back to this, so again, how do we wish to proceed next week? So assuming every application is complete, we'll make sure everyone has the information so we can review, so that we can come and have a lively discussion and we're not reviewing them live. Anything more than asking questions if we need to, make sure all the applicants remember about the date and they're reminded. How would we like to do it? Do we want to think about, you know, to get us started, do we wanna pull the, you know, if each of us said, okay, we can only fund, if I can only fund 3 projects, pull out my top 3 of what I wanna fund, then we start the discussion there next week? Do we wanna start the discussion on, you know, the lowest priced project up to the highest priced project? Do we wanna go that way? What's the thoughts of the committee? I personally, I like the idea of, you know, if we're not gonna do a formal matrix, I like the idea of everyone saying, okay, here's my top 3 in no particular order. Bringing the top 3 to the table, everyone's top 3, and figuring out if we overlap.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we obviously could have done all of this if the ambulance didn't show up on the list, right?
But even if the ambulance didn't show up, doesn't mean every project is necessarily gonna be worthy of ARPA funds, right? Like,
That's right.
we could have all these funds, we could have plenty of money to fund them, and it still doesn't mean we're gonna fund them. So, again, it brings us back to I ignore everyone who submitted this in, I just think of it all as application 1 through whatever, right? How do we wanna, you know, being as neutral as we can, giving everyone as fair of a shot, do we wanna rank coming in? Do we wanna come in, you know, make sure all the applicants are here who, you know, they know about it, so they have an opportunity to be here if we have questions, go through each one, see if there's any questions for the applicants, and then get into the discussion at the very end? Cause I know that was something we discussed that we didn't necessarily love last time, that we didn't have the ability really to do, we kinda took them in, what's the word, ARPA's now using tranches?
Mm-hmm.
And tranches. So maybe there's a different way we can do it. Do we want to, you know, think about it, come in, maybe have, you know, ask any questions we have once we determine the last ones are complete, and meet those last pieces. And have applicants be able to talk, and maybe we have them come in and talk, you know, lowest request to the highest request, so it's just some arbitrary way to do it. Or what else we got for
If the application
ideas?
is complete, I don't see any reason for applicants to come in.
Okay,
Right.
so we don't anticipate we're gonna have further questions for people.
If the application is incomplete, it's not going to be considered.
Fair. Okay. So how do we feel about bringing in either our top 3 or, you know, top 5, each person
Well, let's
just
talk
says-
about the elephant in the room, right? It's the ambulance, right? Can we all agree on that?
Well, I don't know if I wanna talk about the ambulance, because what if I go through this KP, right?
Yeah.
And let's say we decide to bring in the top 5 projects, and remember, each one, even if it's the same company, it's a separate project if they submitted twice, right? Let's say I bring in my top 5, and let's say the ambulance isn't even one of my top 5.
Okay,
Let's say it's not Susan's, I don't know.
okay.
It is.
It is.
Well, let's say it's not.
Right, I hear you, but
And yeah, and then what?
let's not get Pollyanna.
And then we're gonna have to figure it out. But I mean, regardless of how we do this, we're gonna have to figure it out.
Right.
We're not. We already know, number one, just because it's submitted and complete doesn't mean it's gonna get funded. There's
Right.
no guarantee we're gonna fund it or think that it's a worthy project.
Right.
Number two, even if they submit it for X dollars, doesn't mean we have to fund it X dollars. We can do X minus whatever,
Mhm.
right? And number three, I mean, you know, staying neutral, we could still finish the process and have money left on the table. I don't think we will, but that's, it's not,
Yes, it's a possibility.
these are all options. I guess what I'm looking here for is just input from all of you on what your thoughts are in recognizing, you know, how we're gonna have to have these conversations. We're all gonna take this pile home. It's gonna be light reading for the next week, or cramming it overnight on the weekend or Monday night to get ready for it. And we're gonna have discussions and figure out, you know, where we stand on things. I don't think coming in with zero idea of how we're gonna go through them and zero idea of how we're going to start the discussion and wait to put on them is the right answer, because we're still gonna have to document somewhere what our process is, how we're going through them. And again, I mean, I know we're not gonna do a formal process here, but there is gonna be some kind of ranking, right? We're gonna say, we recommend these 5 projects, we don't recommend these 3, or whatever it may be.
Well, why don't we all individually rank each of the projects?
Put them in our own order
Our own
of,
personal order.
so number 1 being, I wanna fund this, number 20, if we get to it.
Right.
Okay.
But not to the exclusion of the lower ranked projects.
What does that mean?
It means maybe partially fund the lower ranked projects, like Mike suggested, or maybe Susan suggested, I don't know. But, you know, I think we're all gonna have a hierarchy of projects that we're gonna wanna do. So when we throw those in the middle of the table here,
Okay,
we might just naturally come up with 3 or 4 projects that we all agree are most important, right? See where that leaves us with finances, and go from there. And then we can start talking about partially funding projects, or
What if we took,
not funding projects, or.
what if we took a look, what if our first pass on this would be to see if any projects are clearly inappropriate? What if we started with that?
That's what I plan to do with the packet before the next meeting.
So if we, so there may be elements of an application that are not appropriate. The whole application could be inappropriate, but I don't think that's the case just in our first go through here, but. And so that may shorten the pile a little bit. It might not shorten it at all, but at least if we look for the low-hanging fruit that does not belong,
okay,
we could eliminate that.
okay,
So then we'll have some subset of our stack here to then discuss, at which point then that could be put in our individual, highly subjective priorities.
okay. So what if we do that first, and what if in the second step, instead of ranking all of them, what if we rank just either the top 8 or the top 10 instead of the top 14? So that's also kinda doing the exact same thing, Susan. Some of them are completely, you know, if there's any that are identified as completely inappropriate, and then other ones that we consider much lower priority. Or we could even do a shorter number than 10 or 8.
Why not just do them all?
Well, if we did, hypothetically, right, if we do the top 5, right, I don't have to tell you, it doesn't matter which ones in what order for me, 1 through 5, or Susan's 1 through 5, or Mike's 1 through 5, yours or Chris's. We just throw out, here's, you know, it's like playing a game of cards, right? Here's my top 5.
Right.
Susan throws out her top 5, everyone else says, here's our top 5, and then we figure out, is there any that all 5 of us agree on? If so, those are our top you know, we fund those 100% right away and get those off the docket.
Ugh.
I don't like the
I
100%.
don't like the idea of my fifth choice being the first to be funded. That doesn't leave me.
We could do 4
That
and then
doesn't
just don't
leave-
include it.
That doesn't leave me feeling warm.
Okay. What other ideas we got here? Happy to entertain any of the ideas. We can rank all of them, but again, then it starts to get into a weighted ranking system like we had before.
The one we abandoned.
The one we've been, I
Yes.
mean, it's gonna be different, but it's gonna be
Extreme
similar,
prejudice.
cause
On the third bounce.
it's gonna get to the same result.
I don't know, I mean, I guess it's just, we individually rank them, come in and have it out, you know, I mean, we're 5 reasonable people, we can sit here, people will win, people will lose, people will concede, people will
Well,
state
one,
their opinions, and, you know, majority rules, this is a democracy we live in, right?
well, another way to tease it out might be to have two piles, the town piles and the private enterprise piles.
You wanna separate them out and look at them individually in 2 different buckets?
That's a possibility. I don't know that I want to do that, but that seems to lend itself here, because we do have 2 categories of applicants.
How does everyone feel about that?
I don't
Look
like
at,
it,
you do or don't,
I don't.
okay?
Why?
Because I feel like the town projects would get the benefit. Because the town projects, and maybe they should, but they're gonna support the most people, they're gonna do the most good. But I think it's gonna be to the exclusion
Private business.
of private businesses.
If they're
who
looked at
should
separately?
be getting, well, yeah. I don't think,
Cause I think the
Well, I don't
private,
think- ARPA does not discriminate
right,
among applicants. I don't see any reason why one should get more or less favor than the other.
so
ARPA.
between all of the you have to remember, all the non-town projects total under $150,000. Out of
Mhm.
our 400 and some $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So if we wanted to look at, we talked pros and cons before about doing this. If we wanted to look at those first, those projects first, and see if, are they all appropriate, do we agree, are we agreeing on the numbers and so forth, we could theoretically deal with those before we get to the town, so we don't have to worry about town ones trumping the business ones and wiping out all the funds, if we wanted to look at it that way. I don't know if we should, but that's an option.
Well, right, but as I'm saying, that's then assuming that ARPA gives a preference to private businesses, which it does not.
right. That's why I don't think we should separate them
Okay,
at
so
all.
think you leave them all together. So we can rank, like I said, my concern with ranking them 1 through 14 is we've essentially did the exact same thing we didn't like last time. Because what ends up happening is when you rank the 14th if you rank 14, you rank 10, you rank 11, I rank 12, Chris ranks whatever, you could theoretically put it on the whole ranking system and figure out, where it falls at the end of the day. In this
But-
case, highest number is the lowest
how about if we were to have the list of all the projects?
that you have.
The first column is don't fund. Second column is partial fund. Third column is full fund.
So you're
And
saying
then
essentially,
each person selects for each one of the things. So I would say okay, Parks Commission, walking track, $50,000, well, I think, maybe that's a partial.
Well,
Right.
what if we, that's interesting, what if we took it a step further and spent the money ourselves?
So-
So for example, for the Parks Commission, they get the full 50. For Susan Rain's business, she asked for 30, she should only get 20, put in 20. See what I mean? And
If we select
do
partial,
the
you have
math.
to come up,
You have to come up with a number and it has to total.
No, I just say we come up with the number, and whatever the numbers add up, then we start going, okay, now we, if all the numbers added up and we're still over budget, then we have to do a second pass.
No, what I was saying was, for each of us, as we do that, it is incumbent on us to come up with numbers
That
that
balance.
balance. And that's the slate that we offer, and that's what we debate.
So what I can do is I can create an Excel spreadsheet
Yeah.
that lists all the projects that says fully funded,
And the
amount
and
requested.
the ask, yeah.
And then if you say amount requested, put the amount, fully funded, right? So if it's 100,000, you wanna fund it 100,000. You don't wanna fund it at all, that's zero. You wanna fund it partially, what number do you wanna fund it at?
Yep.
Right.
And then we'll
And
do
your
a tally at the bottom.
And your totals have to be equal to or less than, whatever.
I'll even send up conditional formatting so it yells at you
Ooh,
if you try to go above the amount that you have to spend. And then,
Yay.
to Susan's point, that will help with the conversation next week, cause then we can go down, okay, let's talk about projects everyone has fully funded.
right, and
But
then at that stage, we have a list of, the five of us have a list of what we think should be fully funded. We see where it all crosses. If there's not unanimous on any of them, then we have to discuss those. Maybe those if some of those are on someone's partial funded list, that should be interesting information that we can discuss.
Yeah, everyone will get to see how the sausage is made.
KP, how do you think?
This will be
How do
nice
you
feel about
nice
that?
and messy. Just the way I like it.
I miss eating sausage.
Put together a checkbook, everyone puts the numbers in the spots.
Yeah, I like it.
And then that will give us an indication, obviously, if you're fully funding the projects, probably a little bit higher up on the list to a certain extent, or partially, there's been some review and there's some reason that you're doing modification and zero, well, that also speaks.
I hear you, but
What I don't wanna get into is justification for why I picked someone to be only getting this much amount of money.
But you're gonna, that's gonna be part of the conversation, Mike, it's
Yeah.
gonna have to be. I would say, going to Susan's idea, we start with, does anyone have anyone that you've funded at zero, right? We start that conversation, cause that's the low lying fruit. If there's consensus and all five of us say
Right, that's
Bob's
for the
application
application.
is zero,
Yeah.
then that's easy.
Then that goes away.
And then fully funding should be the next one of, let's talk about fully funding, and obviously everyone's gonna have their own budget balanced.
Yep.
So you're only gonna spend X dollars, and then we just have to figure out, okay, how do we do this for a total? So what I'll do, if this works for everyone, I'll send one of these out to everybody, and then I'll bring in a blank one the night of the meeting, so we can fill it out as a group as we're going.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do those zeros first, if that works, then fully funding, we'll talk about those and see, we'll have to have some debate on it if Mike fully funds all of them and Susan fully funds 2 and I fully fund 6, we gotta chat about it. KP's fully funding 0, he's partially funding all of them.
well, I guess one thing we also have to consider is if the project isn't ARPA funded, could there be another way to fund it? And when I say that, I'm probably talking about the public applications.
Well, I kinda feel like that's off the table for us, cause when we discussed the application, we discussed about the remember, I was very adamant, I really like that question, is there any other funding available for this project? Will this go forward? If not for the ARPA funds, will this still happen?
Right.
And the consensus was no, we don't need that question. Remember that conversation? So I mean, I think it's a great consideration when considering whether to fund it or not, but I don't know if it's really in.
We asked that question, availability of other or additional sources of funds to fund applicants' capital expenditure.
What line,
What
where's
project?
that at?
It's in part C at the bottom,
Part C.
and it's
Part C.
also
Yeah,
at the
I thought we
bottom of
added
part
that.
D, yeah,
Okay, well, never mind then. I lied. I misspoke. I'm sorry. That's alright.
I thought I was wrong once, but I was actually just mistaken.
So yeah, so some of them do say potential funds in them. But that will make your decision up on whether or not you know, partial or zero fund it. You're gonna have to play with your spreadsheet for a while to get it to equal the right number.
I didn't realize there'd be math involved.
Well, I'll try to have Excel do the automatic summary for you. So you don't have to. Alright, is there anything, so we good with this? Does this work for everyone? So to follow up here,
I guess I'm not clear on what we're doing.
so I'm gonna send you a blank spreadsheet.
we're gonna
That
start.
With
automatically
every one of, with
tallies
every one
up.
of these, with every one of these
Yes.
projects, we're gonna rank them 1 through however many projects there are.
Yes, although you did say, what's the other project that we don't, oh, it's on here,
Dawn's.
we just don't have it. The Parks Commission replace well pump.
Right.
Okay, so we have to
Well-
get that.
Well, why do we have to get that? I mean, you're gonna ask for it because this is their opportunity to resubmit at this point?
Well, I'm guessing, so Tony did this as a summary of the projects.
Yeah,
I'll check with Tony, cause it's possible they say, so a lot of the applications came into Ryan and I,
mm-hmm,
and Tony printed them out. So it's possible she missed printing one. I'm
Okay.
guessing that's what happened.
okay,
Obviously, if we don't have it, it's too
Right.
late, it's SOL, but
right,
my guess is that it's likely here that she wrote it down on the on the summary sheet, she just didn't include it, maybe she missed it,
And
or.
let me get more information on that, because the person who submitted the application is probably not as close to the irrigation system as, I am, I guess, and the reason that application may not be in our packet is because it's already done, because last time I was up there, there had been significant work done on the irrigation system. So she may be misspeaking about a well pump as opposed to what was actually done there. So let me find that out, I'll find that out.
Well, the biggest question is whether or not someone was actually submitted, cause if she didn't submit the application, it doesn't matter what he or she wanted to submit for, they're
Right.
Yeah.
out of luck.
Right, I'm just telling you why
If
there
the-
may not be an
And
application.
if the work was already done, shouldn't it have already been approved, in an approved budget?
I think KP's saying they misspoke and they thought they were
Yeah.
putting in for project B, but they put in for project A, which was already completed, and they meant to put in for project B, if I understood you right.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying, I think, let me get details about it, I'll let you know.
Alright.
I don't think we need a well pump up there unless I'm confused.
Alright, so everyone's good with the ranking system mostly. I'll make sure KP has what he needs, so you're all set with what we're doing.
What do you mean?
So the Excel sheet, I'll get you the Excel sheet.
You're gonna get it to everybody, right?
yes.
I will.
Alright.
I'll make sure there's some instructions on it, or make sure everyone's on the same page.
1 through
Alright.
9, very simple.
I'm gonna send it over to you, KP, with instructions. Matters not reasonably anticipated by the chair. Everyone good?
Yeah.
KP, you good?
What meeting is this? Arpa? I didn't know if I should talk about the clock at the school or not.
No,
I'm good.
no, wrong meeting.
Okay, I'm good.
Wrong meeting. They didn't put in for a request for that. We're not,
Okay,
it's not within our
okay.
purview. Alright, I'll take a motion.
Let me ask just a
Oh,
question
yes,
in terms of timing, we had, our next meeting is August 16th, and I think we had a quote unquote like overflow meeting if
For
we
the
got
following.
jammed on the 23rd.
Yeah.
I will be out of country on the 23rd.
Canada.
Yeah, so if you wanted to, Zoom it, I could, I expect I have internet, so I expect I would be able to join, although how exciting to try to join from zoom.ca, I have no idea how that is gonna work, so.
Well, we'll see what we can do. I think,
It works fine for everybody else, I will,
Depends on where in CA
We'll
you are, I
see.
guess.
Yeah, we'll see how I fare.
We'll see how we do next week with, Mike might be on Zoom, which is possible, and we'll make that happen.
I should be able
Yeah.
to be on Zoom
Okay.
at the least.
So, we'll see how that goes, and then we'll see, you never know, maybe we're all in more consensus than we think. And then we won't need a second meeting, Susan, cause we'll have it all wrapped up next
That
week with
is
a
my
tight little bow.
Fervent hope.
Okay, alright, I'll still take that motion now.
So move.
Second.
Okay, motion to adjourn by Susan, second by Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, we're adjourned 7:31 PM, thank you very much.
There was no other